He thought hiring her was his salvation. A Korean mafia boss drowning in assassination attempts? A black woman who fought like she'd been born in war. One background check that revealed the impossible. She had never existed. But when armed operatives stormed his compound at 2 a.m., they didn't come for him. They came for her. And they called her by a name that made his blood run cold. Blacken. Because the woman protecting him wasn't just a bodyguard. She was a weapon. Erased by the government. Trained to kill without mercy. And hunted by the very program that created her. 6 elite operatives. 1 woman. A past that refused to stay buried. What she did next didn't just save his life. It shook the entire criminal underworld. Before we continue, if you want to know how one woman took on an entire Black Ops unit and became the only thing standing between a mafia boss and certain death, smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications, because this action-packed story will leave you on the edge of your seat. Some people are born into violence. Others are manufactured for it. Stacey Ramsdell was the latter. She lived in the shadows of society. No social security number, no driver's license, no digital footprint. To the world, she didn't exist. She survived by taking underground fighting gigs, cash-only work that asked no questions. But survival meant constant movement, never staying too long, never forming connections. Because the moment she stopped running, they would find her. Phantom Unit always found their lost operatives. Stacey had been running for 3 years. 3 years since she'd walked away from the program that created her. 3 years since she'd refused to complete her final mission. 3 years since she'd become the only failed experiment still breathing. The others who'd tried to escape? Dead within weeks. Stacey survived because she was better, faster, more ruthless when necessary. But mostly, she survived because she'd learned to become invisible. Then she made a mistake. She got noticed. Seo-Jun Kim had a problem. Everyone wanted him dead. As the young head of the Black Tiger Syndicate, one of the most powerful Korean mafia organizations on the West Coast, he'd inherited not just power and territory, but enemies, lots of them. In the 6 months since his father's assassination, Seo-Jun had survived 4 attempts on his life. His bodyguards kept dying or disappearing. His security team had more leaks than a sinking ship. "You're cursed, boss," Day One had told him after the 4th bodyguard quit. "Or someone inside wants you dead." Probably both. Seo-Jun needed someone different, someone outside the usual channels, someone who couldn't be bought, threatened, or turned. He just didn't know he was about to hire a ghost. The encounter happened on a rainy Tuesday night in an alley behind a strip mall. Seo-Jun had stopped to meet an informant. Stupid, risky, exactly the kind of move Day One would have forbidden. But Seo-Jun was tired of living in fear, tired of second-guessing every decision. The informant never showed. Instead, 3 men appeared from the shadows. Loan sharks he recognized from a rival organization. They'd been waiting. "Kim Seo-Jun," the leader said, pulling a knife. "Victor Song sends his regards." Seo-Jun reached for his gun, but one of the men kicked it from his hand. He was surrounded, outnumbered, about to die in a filthy alley like a common thug. Then she appeared. A woman, tall, black, moving with fluid precision, stepped between Seo-Jun and his attackers. "Walk away," she said simply. The men laughed. "Lady, you picked the wrong fight." She moved. What happened next took less than 8 seconds, but would replay in Seo-Jun's mind for years. The woman's first strike broke the leader's wrist. Her second put him on the ground, unconscious. The second attacker swung a blade. She caught his arm mid-swing, twisted, and he screamed as his shoulder dislocated. A knee to his face silenced him. The third man pulled a gun. She was already moving, closed the distance before he could aim, struck his throat, caught the gun as it fell, and had it pointed at his head before he finished choking. I said, "Walk away." He ran. The woman turned to Seo-jun, still holding the gun casually. "You're Kim Seo-jun, Black Tiger Syndicate. How do you—" "I pay attention." She offered the gun back. "You need better security." Clearly, Seo-jun studied her. No obvious weapons beyond what she'd taken. Wearing dark clothes that allowed movement. Eyes that constantly scanned for threats. Professional. Dangerous. Perfect. "What's your name?" "Stacy Ramsdell." "You looking for work, Ms. Ramsdell?" She hesitated. Taking a job meant staying in one place, meant exposure, meant risk. But running meant no money, no resources, no way to survive long-term. "What kind of work?" "I need a bodyguard, someone competent. Someone who can actually keep me alive." He gestured to the unconscious men. "You seem qualified." "I work alone. No team, no questions about my past. Done. Cash only. No contracts, no background checks." Seo-jun smiled. "Ms. Ramsdell, you just described my dream employee." Stacy knew this was a mistake. Knew she should refuse and disappear back into the shadows. But something about Seo-jun's desperation resonated. He was hunted. She was hunted. Maybe together they'd survive longer. "When do I start?" "Right now." Neither of them knew this decision would unleash hell. The next morning, Day One cornered Seo-jun in his office. "You hired a bodyguard? Without consulting security?" "I hired someone competent, first time in months." "Boss, we have protocols. Your protocols have kept me alive for 6 months while bleeding money and manpower." This woman took down 3 trained fighters in 8 seconds. "I think she's an upgrade." Day One's jaw clenched. "Fine, I'll run a background check." "No need. It's standard procedure. If she's working close to you, I need to know who she is." Seo-jun shrugged. "Knock yourself out." Stacy spent her first day learning the compound layout, security protocols, Seo-jun's routine. She was professional, efficient, spoke only when necessary. The other security personnel watched her with barely concealed skepticism. A woman bodyguard was unusual in their world. A black woman even more so. "She won't last a week," she overheard one guard telling another. She'd heard worse. That evening, Day One entered Seo-jun's office, looking pale. "We have a problem." "What kind of problem?" "Stacy Ramsdell. I ran her through every database we have access to. Criminal records, DMV, Social Security, immigration, even international databases. And she doesn't exist." Seo-jun set down his drink. "What do you mean?" "I mean, there is no Stacy Ramsdell in any system. No birth certificate, no school records, no employment history, no fingerprints on file, nothing. It's like she was never born. Maybe she uses an alias. I ran facial recognition through our contacts in law enforcement. Nothing. Boss, people don't just not exist. Either her records were sealed at the highest levels, or what? Or someone erased her completely." The implications hung heavy. "Should I fire her?" Seo-jun asked quietly. "I don't know. Someone with that level of erasure is either extremely dangerous or extremely valuable. Possibly both." She saved my life. She also has no identity. That's not normal. That's not even possible without significant government resources. Seo-jun thought about the way she'd moved in that alley. The precision. The training that went beyond anything conventional. Keep watching her, but don't confront her yet. I want to know what we're dealing with. Stacy knew they'd run a background check. Knew they'd find nothing. She just didn't know if Seo-jun would fire her or start asking dangerous questions. That night, alone in the small room they'd given her, she stared at her hands. Hands that had been trained to kill in 47 different ways. Hands that still remembered every lesson from Phantom Unit. You are Black 09. You are a weapon. You do not exist outside your mission, but she'd rejected that programming, chosen to be human instead of a tool. The problem with being human was humans had pasts, and her past was coming for her. She could feel it. How do you prove you're the best when everyone doubts you? Keep watching, because Stacy's answer will shock the entire syndicate. The skepticism reached a boiling point during a meeting with the Red Dragon Triad, an allied organization. Their leader, Jiang Wei, looked at Stacy standing behind Seo-jun and laughed. "This is your new bodyguard, a woman?" "A very competent woman," Seo-jun replied calmly. "I have 3 bodyguards with military training, black belts in multiple disciplines, combined 40 years of experience." Jiang gestured to the 3 massive men flanking him. "Your woman would last 10 seconds against any of them." Stacy remained expressionless, but Seo-jun saw the slight shift in her stance. "Ready." "Care to test that theory?" Seo-jun asked. Jiang's smile widened. "What kind of test?" "Your 3 guards. Against her. Right now. No weapons. First to submit or incapacitate loses." "Boss," Eveyone started. "You're joking," Jiang said. "Do I look like I'm joking?" The room went silent. "If she loses," Jiang said slowly, "you acknowledge the Red Dragon Triad as the superior organization, publicly. And when she wins," Seo-jun countered, "you double your tribute and acknowledge Black Tiger supremacy, publicly." Jiang's eyes narrowed. Then he laughed. "Done. This will be entertaining." They moved to the compound's training room, a large space with mats, weapons racks, and plenty of room to fight. Stacy stood in the center, calm, hands loose at her sides. The 3 bodyguards entered, each over 6 feet tall, heavily muscled, moving with the confidence of men who'd never lost a fight. "Ready when you are," Seo-jun said. Jiang checked his watch. "Begin." 12 seconds. That's how long it took. The first guard rushed her. Classic mistake. Stacy sidestepped, used his momentum against him, and drove her elbow into his spine. He hit the mat gasping. The second and third coordinated, attacking from different angles. Stacy dropped low, swept one's legs, while simultaneously striking the other's knee. As they fell, she was already moving. Strike to the throat, pressure point to the shoulder, both men on the ground before they knew what happened. 12 seconds. 3 professional bodyguards. Unconscious. The room was dead silent. Jiang stared, mouth open. His remaining men had hands on weapons, unsure if they should intervene. Stacy straightened, breathing easily, and walked back to her position behind Seo-jun like nothing had happened. "I believe," Seo-jun said calmly, "we were discussing tribute adjustments." Word spread through the underworld like wildfire. The Black Tiger Syndicate's new bodyguard wasn't human. She was something else. Respect grew. but so did fear. And fear made people ask questions. Where did she train? What military unit produces someone like that? Why does she have no records? Stacy heard the whispers, knew she was drawing too much attention. This was exactly what she'd tried to avoid, but leaving now meant abandoning Seo-jun when he needed protection most. And despite every instinct screaming at her to run, she found herself staying. Maybe because he'd never asked about her past, never demanded answers, just accepted her skills and paid her well, or maybe because for the first time in 3 years, she felt like she had a purpose beyond mere survival. 2 weeks later, Seo-jun received an invitation to a peace banquet hosted by Neutral Territory, a gathering of multiple syndicates to discuss territorial agreements and avoid war. "It's a trap," Dae-won said immediately. "Everything's a trap," Seo-jun replied. "But refusing the invitation shows weakness. Then we bring maximum security. We bring Stacy. That's it." "Boss, that's suicide. That's a statement. We show up with one bodyguard and make it clear we're confident enough to do so. Strength through boldness." Dae-won looked at Stacy. "Can you protect him in a room full of enemies?" "Yes," she said simply, because what else could she say? This was her job. The banquet was held in a luxurious restaurant, closed to the public for the evening. 30 men from 6 different organizations, all armed, all dangerous, all barely containing their mutual hostility. Stacy scanned the room constantly. Exits, weapons, sightlines, potential threats. Her training made threat assessment automatic. Seo-jun sat at the main table with other leaders, projecting calm authority while discussing territory divisions and trade routes. Then the servers began bringing food. Stacy noticed immediately. One server moved wrong. Too stiff, too focused. Wrong body language for someone carrying plates. She watched as he approached Seo-jun's table with a covered dish. Her instinct screamed, "Threat." As the server lifted the lid, Stacy saw the smoke grenade underneath. She moved. 3 steps, grabbed the dish, threw it toward the kitchen door where it detonated harmlessly. The room erupted in chaos. Guards drawing weapons, leaders shouting, people diving for cover. Stacy had the server pinned face down on the floor in seconds, arm twisted behind his back. "Who sent you?" she demanded. He spat at her. She applied pressure to his wrist until bones started grinding. "Who sent you?" "Victor Song! He'll kill you all!" Seo-jun appeared beside her, gun drawn. "Victor Song tried to kill me in my own negotiation. Zhang, Elder Huang, you saw this. Attempted assassination at a peace banquet. The neutrality is broken." The room devolved into shouting, accusations, threats. But Stacy noticed something worse. 2 men near the back exit were signaling each other, planning something. "Boss," she said quietly, "we need to leave. Now." Seo-jun trusted her instincts. "Dae-won, bring the car to the side entrance. We're leaving." They made it to the car without incident. Dae-won drove, while Seo-jun sat in back with Stacy. "You saved my life again," he said. "It's my job." "Still, thank you." Stacy didn't respond. She was watching the cars behind them. 2 sedans, following too close, too coordinated. "We have a tail," she said. "Can we lose them?" "Not lose, lead." She leaned forward to Dae-won. "Take the industrial district route. Warehouses, less witnesses. You want to confront them? Better than leading them to the compound." Dae-won changed course. 10 minutes later, they pulled into an abandoned warehouse district. The 2 sedans followed. "Stop here," Stacy said. The car stopped. She exited calmly. 6 men emerged from the sedans, armed, professional. But something was wrong. They weren't looking at Seo-jun. They were looking at her. The leader stepped forward, and Stacy's blood ran cold when she heard the words, "Hello, Black 09. It's time to come home." Seo-jun exited the car, hand on his weapon. "Who the hell are you?" The operative ignored him completely. "Black 09, this doesn't have to end badly. Come voluntarily. The others," he gestured at Seo-jun and Day One, "can leave." "I'm not going anywhere," Stacy said, voice cold. "Then we have a problem. You have no idea what kind of problem you have." The operatives moved with military precision, flanking, coordinating, trained to work as a unit. But Stacy knew their training because she'd gone through the same program. She moved first. The closest operative reached for her. She broke his arm, took his weapon, used him as a shield while shooting the second operative's kneecap. 2 down. The remaining 4 adapted, spreading out, using cover. Stacy grabbed Seo-jun, pulled him behind the car. "Stay down! What the hell is going on?" "Things I can't explain right now." Bullets sparked off metal. Stacy returned fire with perfect accuracy, not to kill but to disable. Shoulder shots, leg shots. Operatives dropping but alive. When the shooting stopped, 4 operatives were wounded. 2 were unconscious, and the leader stood alone. "You always were the best," he said. "That's why they want you back. I'm not a weapon anymore. You'll always be a weapon. It's what you are." He triggered something on his belt, a beacon. "Extraction in 60 seconds. Next time, we bring more than 6, he smiled. "Next time, we bring everyone." A helicopter appeared overhead. The wounded operatives were pulled up on cables. In 90 seconds, they were gone. Seo-jun stared at Stacy, gun still in her hand, bodies of unconscious attackers scattered around her. "Explain, now." Stacy lowered her weapon. "I can't. Those men called you Black 09. They said they wanted you back. Back from what? A program that doesn't exist. A program that erased me and everyone like me from official records so we could operate without being traced. A Black Ops unit? Worse, we were experimental, designed to be perfect invisible weapons. No identity meant no accountability. We could be deployed anywhere, do anything. And if we died, we never existed in the first place. Day One had exited the car, weapon drawn. How many of you are there? Were. Past tense, most are dead. The ones who tried to leave, the ones who failed missions, the ones who knew too much. Phantom unit doesn't allow retirement. But you left, Seo-jun said. I ran 3 years ago, refused a mission, became a failed asset. They've been hunting me ever since. Why didn't you tell me? Because telling you made you a target. Now they know you're connected to me. Your entire organization is at risk because Her voice cracked. Because I stayed too long. Seo-jun holstered his weapon, walked to her, looked her in the eyes. How many more will come? All of them. Phantom unit doesn't stop. Then we'll be ready. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. You're my bodyguard. You saved my life multiple times, and now you need protection too. He turned to Day One. Call everyone. Full security protocol. Lock down the compound. We're at war. Boss, we don't even know who we're fighting. We're fighting people who erased a woman from existence and are hunting her because she chose freedom. Seo-jun looked back at Stacy. That's all I need to know. For the first time in 3 years, Stacy felt something she'd forgotten. Hope. Here's a question. How do you fight an enemy that doesn't officially exist? Keep watching, because the answer will cost more than anyone expected. Back at the compound, Seo-jun called an emergency meeting of his inner circle. Stacy stood beside him, no longer just a bodyguard, but the center of a crisis. "Explain Phantom Unit," Seo-jun commanded. Stacy took a breath. Phantom Unit was created 15 years ago by a coalition of intelligence agencies. The goal? Operatives with no official existence who could handle missions too dirty for regular channels. They recruited from military special forces, offered enhanced training and resources. How did you get involved? I was Army, Special Operations. My entire unit was killed in an operation that officially never happened. I was the only survivor. They gave me a choice: disappear into the system or disappear into Phantom Unit. I chose the latter. What was your designation? Black 09, 9th operative in the Black Squad. There were 50 of us initially. Within 5 years, half were dead from missions. Within 8 years, only 12 remained. Those of us who survived too long, we learned too much. Day 1 leaned forward. So they tried to retire you permanently. Exactly. 3 years ago, I was assigned a mission I couldn't morally complete. Assassination of a foreign diplomat and his family. Women, children. I refused, went dark. They've been hunting me ever since. The others? Dead. I'm the last one left, the only failed experiment still breathing. Elder Huang, the retired triad leader who occasionally consulted for Seo-jun, had been sitting silently. Now he spoke. I've heard whispers of Phantom Unit, urban legend in our circles. Assassins who don't exist, solving problems that can't be solved through normal channels. He studied Stacy. If the rumors are true, your unit handled extremely high-value targets. Politicians, corporate leaders, even other intelligence assets. That's correct. Which means Phantom Unit has resources beyond what we can imagine. Money, technology, connections at every level of government. What are you saying? Seo-jun asked. I'm saying we're facing an enemy we cannot defeat through conventional means. They have unlimited personnel, unlimited budget, and the backing of entities that legally don't exist. The room went silent. So what do we do? Day 1 asked. Stacy met Seo-jun's eyes. I leave. Draw them away from you. It's me they want. No. Seo-jun, I said no. We protect our people. You're one of us now. I'm a liability. You're a person. His voice was firm. And I don't abandon people. Boss, with all respect, Lee Min-ho spoke up, one of Seo-jun's senior lieutenants. She's right. We can't fight the government. We're not fighting the government. We're fighting a program that officially doesn't exist, which means they can't bring official resources without exposing themselves. They brought 6 trained operatives who failed to capture 1 woman. If Phantom Unit was truly unlimited, they'd have sent 50. They're constrained by secrecy, limited to what they can deploy without questions. Elder Huang smiled slowly. The boy has a point. Black Ops units operate in shadows. Massive deployments draw attention. They're powerful, but not omnipotent. So we defend, Day 1 said. Turn this compound into a fortress. More than that, Seo-jun said. We hunt information. Find out who funds Phantom Unit, who commands it, where their other operations are. We turn their secrecy into a weakness. How? Lee Min-ho asked. Seo-jun looked at Stacy. You know how they operate, how they think. What would hurt them most? Exposure, she said immediately. If proof of Phantom Unit's existence reached the public, congressional oversight committees, international courts, they'd have to shut down completely. They only function because they're a rumor. Then we gather proof, document everything, create insurance. That's a dangerous game, boss, Day One warned. We're already playing a dangerous game. At least this way, we have a win condition. Over the next week, the compound transformed. Extra security, reinforced entrances, 24/7 patrols. Stacy trained Seo-jun's security team in Phantom Unit tactics. How they operated, how they breached, how they thought. They'll come at night, she told the gathered guards. Silent entry, divided teams. They'll disable communications first, then lights, then move in coordinated sweeps. You won't hear them until they're on you. How do we counter? Redundant systems, manual backup for everything. Assume technology is compromised. Trust your eyes and instincts over equipment. The men listened with new respect. She wasn't just a bodyguard anymore. She was their expert on the threat they faced. But Stacy knew it wouldn't be enough. Phantom Unit didn't fail twice. On day 8, Elder Huang requested a private meeting with Stacy. They sat in his study, tea between them. "I know your secret," he said quietly. Stacy tensed. "What secret?" "Your connection to Kim Myung-dae, Seo-jun's father." Her blood ran cold. 4 years ago, Elder Huang continued, there was an incident. Kim Myung-dae was targeted by a rival organization. But the assassination was intercepted by an unknown operative, a woman who fought like a ghost. Myung-dae survived that night because of her. But 3 months later, he died in a second attempt. Different operatives, different tactics. How do you know this? I was there. I saw the woman fight. Saw her take down 5 trained killers like they were children. Later, I investigated. Found whispers of a Black Ops unit. Found the designation, Black Zilder 9. Stacy's hands shook. Did Seo-jun? He doesn't know, but he will, eventually. Elder Huang sipped his tea. My question is, why did you fail to protect him the second time? I was pulled from the assignment. My handlers said the threat was neutralized, but they lied. They wanted Kim Myung-dae dead for reasons I still don't understand. I tried to go back, tried to warn him. By the time I arrived, he was already gone. That's when you ran. That's when I realized I'd been used to eliminate targets Phantom Unit wanted gone. We thought we were protecting national security, but we were just assassins with government sanction. I couldn't do it anymore. Does his death haunt you? Every day. Elder Huang nodded slowly. Seo-jun deserves to know. If Phantom Unit comes again, he should understand why. It'll destroy him. He'll hate me. Perhaps. Or perhaps he'll understand that you tried and failed, rather than never trying at all. The old man stood. Tell him soon, before someone else does. The attack came on day 10. No warning, no demands. Just darkness. At 2:17 a.m., every light in the compound went out simultaneously. Backup generators failed. Electronic locks froze. Stacy was awake instantly. They're here! She grabbed weapons, threw on tactical gear, and burst from her room. The compound was chaos. Guards scrambling, shouting, trying to coordinate in pitch darkness. Then the shooting started. Muzzle flashes lit the darkness like lightning. Operatives were already inside, moving through halls with night vision, targeting security with surgical precision. Stacy ran towards Seo-jun's quarters, found Day One already there, weapons drawn. How many? She demanded. Unknown. At least 10. They are everywhere. Get Seo-jun to the panic room. I'll buy time. You can't fight them all. I'm not fighting them. I'm giving you an escape window. Go! Day One hesitated, then grabbed Seo-jun, who'd emerged from his room in tactical gear, and pulled him toward the reinforced safe room 3 floors down. Stacy moved through the compound like a ghost herself. She knew Phantom Unit tactics because she'd trained in them, knew their patterns, their blind spots, their assumptions. She used those assumptions against them. Found the first 2-man team clearing the East Wing, disabled their night vision with an EMP charge she'd built. In the resulting chaos, took them down with strikes to nerve clusters, found the second team rappelling from the roof, cut their lines. They fell hard, but not fatally. By the time she'd neutralized 6 operatives, the others had regrouped, and they were converging on the panic room. Seo-jun and Day One reached the safe room, a reinforced steel chamber that could withstand assault for hours. Day One was sealing the door when gunfire erupted nearby. "Get inside!" Stacy's voice over the radio. "Not without you. I'm 30 seconds out. Seal it!" Seo-jun grabbed the door. "We wait. Boss, we wait." 20 seconds of eternity passed. Then Stacy appeared, running full speed, blood on her face, 6 operatives behind her. She dove through the door. Seo-jun slammed it shut. The locks engaged with heavy mechanical thuds. Outside, fists pounded on steel. Then silence. They were trapped, but alive. Inside the panic room, Stacy collapsed against the wall, breathing hard. "How bad?" Seo-jun asked. 12 operatives minimum, maybe more. They've taken the compound. Can we hold out? This room? Yes, but eventually they'll breach or wait us out. Day One checked his weapon. How long do we have? Hours. Maybe a day if we're lucky. Seo-jun sat beside Stacy. I need to know something. And I need complete honesty. She looked at him warily. What? My father, Kim Myung-dae. You knew him. Stacy's expression confirmed it before she spoke. Yes, you protected him. I tried, but you failed. Yes, the word was agony. Tell me everything. So she did. Told him about the assignment 4 years ago, about fighting off the first assassination attempt, about being pulled from the detail against her protests, about arriving too late for the second attempt. I'm so sorry, she finished, tears streaming. I tried to save him. I really did. But Phantom Unit wanted him dead, and I couldn't stop it. Seo-jun was quiet for a long time. Why did they want him dead? I don't know. I never found out. But it was political. Something about his connections, his operations, his plans. He was a threat to someone powerful. More silence. Then Seo-jun spoke. You tried. That's more than most would have done. But I failed. You tried. He took her hand. And now you're here, protecting me, fighting your own people. That takes courage. Or stupidity. Both, probably. He smiled slightly. When we get out of here, and we will, I want you to help me find out who ordered my father's death. We take down Phantom Unit together. That's insane? Most good plans are. Outside, the door's locking mechanism began to spark. They were cutting through. One final question. What happens when you face 6 versions of yourself? Watch closely because this battle defines everything. The door's final lock sheared. It swung open. 6 operatives entered, all wearing full tactical gear, all moving with the precision Stacy recognized intimately. But they didn't shoot. The leader removed his helmet. It was a woman, Asian, scarred, eyes like ice. Black 09. White 006, Stacy replied, recognizing her. I thought you were dead. Almost, but I came back. They always bring us back. White 6 gestured at the others. You remember the squad. Red 03, blue 12, gray 05, green 08, yellow 02. What's left of us? The survivors. The loyal ones. You were supposed to be loyal, Black 09. You were the best of us. Stacy stood, placing herself between the operatives and Seo-jun. I chose differently. You chose wrong. Look at you, playing bodyguard to criminals. This is what you traded Phantom Unit for? Protecting scum? I traded murder for protection. I traded being a weapon for being human. We are weapons. That's our purpose. That was their purpose for us. I chose my own. White 06's expression hardened. The handler sends his regards. You're to be retrieved alive, reprogrammed, put back into service. I'd rather die. That can be arranged too. The 6 operatives spread out. Stacy understood immediately. They'd fight her using Phantom Unit tactics, the exact same training she had. They'd counter every move because they knew every move. This wasn't a fight. It was a mirror match, and mirror matches came down to who wanted survival more. Day 1, Stacy said quietly. Whatever happens, protect Seo-jun. Stacy, promise me. I promise. She attacked, not toward the operatives, toward the panic room's wall panel, slammed her fist through the emergency release. The room's suppression system activated. Foam spraying, alarms blaring, lights strobing, chaos. In the confusion, Stacy moved. Red 03 was closest. She took him down with a strike to the neural cluster behind his ear. He dropped instantly. Blue 12 adjusted, firing. But Stacy used Red 03's body as a shield, then threw it at Blue 12. Both went down in a tangle. Gray 05 came from the left with a blade. Stacy caught the wrist, twisted, snapped the arm. Gray 05 screamed. 3 down. Green 08 and yellow 02 coordinated, exactly as training dictated. High-low attack pattern. But Stacy knew that pattern. Dropped completely, rolled between them, came up behind Green 08 and put him in a chokehold until he passed out. 4 down. Yellow 02 hesitated, just a fraction of a second, realizing she was next. That hesitation cost her. Stacy struck the solar plexus, then the pressure point at the base of the skull. Yellow 2 dropped. 5 down, only White 06 remained. They circled each other in the foam-filled room. You've gotten better, White 6 said. I've had practice surviving. So have I. They clashed. Strike and counter-strike, block and counter-block, move and counter-move. Perfectly matched because they'd been trained by the same instructors, drilled with the same techniques. But Stacy had something White 06 didn't, a reason to fight beyond programming. She fought for Seo-jun, for freedom, for humanity. White 6 fought for duty. And duty wasn't enough. Stacy feinted left, struck right, caught White 6's block, and drove her knee into the exposed ribs. White 6 stumbled. Stacy followed up, elbow to the face, sweep to the legs, position for the killing blow, and stopped. Go, she said. Take your people. Tell the handler I'm not coming back. Ever. White 6 looked up, blood streaming from her nose. He'll send more. Then I'll fight more. But I won't kill you. We were sisters once. I won't forget that. You've gone soft. No, I've remembered I'm human. Stacy stepped back. You have 60 seconds to evacuate. After that, my people start shooting. White 6 struggled to her feet, gathered her unconscious teammates, and retreated. When they were gone, Stacy collapsed against the wall, every muscle screaming. Seo-jun was at her side immediately. "Are you hurt?" "Just tired. Fighting yourself is exhausting. You could have killed her." "I could have, but that's what Phantom Unit would do. I'm not them anymore." The compound was a disaster. Damaged, compromised, soaked in suppression foam. But they'd survived. Seo-jun called all his people together in the courtyard at dawn. "Phantom Unit attacked us last night because they want one of our own. They want Stacy Ramsdell, the woman who's saved my life multiple times. The woman who just fought 6 elite operatives alone and won." He looked around at the gathered faces. "Some of you think she's not worth the risk, that we should hand her over to save ourselves. I understand that fear, but here's what I believe. Anyone who tries that hard to control someone, that desperately to erase someone, is someone I want on my side." Phantom Unit operates in shadows. They rely on secrecy, so we're going to drag them into the light. We document everything, every attack, every operative, every connection. We build an insurance file so detailed that exposing them becomes trivial. And when we have enough evidence, we negotiate. Not surrender. Negotiation from strength. We offer to bury the information if they leave Stacy alone permanently. It's risky. It's dangerous. Some of us might die. But that's the choice. We abandon one of our own, or we fight for her. I choose to fight." He turned to Stacy. "The question is, will you let us fight for you?" Stacy looked at the faces around her. These criminals, these dangerous men, willing to risk everything for her. She'd spent 3 years running alone. 3 years believing survival meant isolation. Maybe she'd been wrong. "I'll fight with you," she said. "But I lead the operation against Phantom Unit. I know them best." "Agreed." Day One stepped forward. "What's our first move?" "We start at the source," Stacy said. "I know where Phantom Unit's training facility is, where they keep records. If we can infiltrate it, we get everything we need." "That's insane," Elder Huang said, but he was smiling. "I love it." 6 months later, Stacy and Seo-jun stood on the roof of the compound, watching the sunset. The infiltration had been successful. They'd recovered files on Phantom Unit operations going back 15 years. Evidence of illegal assassinations, government corruption, international crimes. The handler had agreed to negotiate. In exchange for the information never reaching the public, Phantom Unit would officially disband, existing operatives would be allowed to retire with new identities, and all pursuit of Black 09 would cease. It wasn't perfect. Some operatives had died. Some secrets would never see justice. But Stacy was free. "What will you do now?" Seo-jun asked. "I don't know. I've been running or fighting for so long, I forgot how to just exist." "You could stay. Keep being my bodyguard. You don't need me anymore. Security's rebuilt. Threats are minimal. Maybe I want you to stay anyway." Stacy looked at him. "Weymouth, because you're the only person I've ever met who understands what it means to be marked for death. To survive anyway. To choose humanity over programming." He smiled. "Plus, you're really good in a fight." "That's true." "So, will you stay?" Stacy thought about the past 6 months. The fighting, the fear, but also the purpose, the connection, the family she'd found in the most unlikely place. "I'll stay," she said, "but I want to train others, teach people how to defend themselves, how to survive when the world wants them erased. We can do that. Build a program. Help people." Turn weapons into protectors. Exactly. They stood in comfortable silence, watching the city lights flicker on. Do you think they'll really stop? Stacy asked. Phantom unit? They signed the agreement. Elder Huang verified it through back channels. They're done. And if they're not, then we fight again. Together. Stacy smiled, the first genuine smile in years. I like the sound of that. Together. Because she'd learned the most important lesson of all. Survival wasn't about being the strongest or the fastest or the most dangerous. It was about finding people worth fighting for and fighting alongside them until the end. The Defense Training Center opened on a Tuesday. Located in the heart of the city, it advertised self-defense classes for women, tactical training for security personnel, and survival skills for anyone who felt unsafe. What it didn't advertise was its founder, a woman who had once been the most dangerous operative in a program that didn't exist. Stacy taught 3 classes that day: basic self-defense, advanced combat tactics, threat assessment, and response. Her students ranged from teenagers to grandmothers, from ex-military to complete beginners. The most important thing, she told each class, is remembering you're human. You have value. You deserve safety. And if someone tries to make you a victim, you have the right to fight back. After the last class, Seo-jun arrived to pick her up. He'd stepped back from active mafia leadership, letting Dae-won handle daily operations while he focused on legitimate business ventures. Some people said he'd gone soft. Those people didn't know he'd dismantled an illegal black ops program through sheer determination. "How was class?" he asked. "Good. We're getting more students every week. Word's spreading." "That's because you're amazing. That's because people need this, need to feel safe." They walked to the car, still flanked by light security, because some habits died hard. "Any word from White 06? Seo-jun asked. "She sent a postcard last month, from Thailand. Apparently, she's teaching English to village children." From assassin to teacher. Quite a career change. We all deserved better than what we got. At least now we can choose our own paths. As they drove through the city, Stacy looked at her reflection in the window. The face staring back wasn't Black or 9 anymore. Wasn't a weapon or a ghost, or a failed experiment. It was just Stacy Ramsdell, flawed, scarred, human. And finally, blessedly, free. Because sometimes the greatest victory isn't defeating your enemies, it's reclaiming your humanity. So that's how a black woman with no identity became the only thing standing between a Korean mafia boss and certain death. Stacy Ramsdell was created to be a weapon, erased from existence so she could operate without consequence, but she chose to be human instead, chose freedom over programming, chose protection over destruction. Seo-jun Kim was marked for death by enemies on all sides, but he found salvation in the most unlikely bodyguard, a woman the government tried to erase. Their story proves that your past doesn't define you, that chosen family matters more than blood, that fighting for something bigger than yourself gives life meaning. What would you do if you discovered your bodyguard was a government experiment? Would you turn them in or protect them? Let me know in the comments. And if you loved this action-packed story of secret operatives, mafia bosses, and fighting for freedom, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, because I have more incredible stories coming your way. Thanks for watching, and remember, you're never truly erased as long as someone chooses to see you.